Bravo 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel. This is the old gunsmith, and today we're going to talk a little bit about cold blues. I've had the blues, but these are cold blues, not those kind of blues. Anyway, everybody's kind of plagued with them. There's always touch-up work to be done around the gun shop, whether you've cut something off or had to file on something and you need just a small piece to re-blue, and you're not going to fire up the bluing tanks even if you have them. And if you're a home gunsmith, you're not going to have them. Most of the gunsmiths I know, at least, have a wide variety of bluing solutions available to them in their shop. And that's because no matter what anyone tells you, nothing works on all the alloys. And you can get a piece that will blue beautifully with blue XYZ, and the next piece you have in will not blue worth a darn with blue XYZ. And it's got nothing to do with my cameraman kicking the tripod. It's got and shaking the entire screen, nor does it have anything to do with the blue itself. What it has to do with is the makeup of the metal. And some are just better than others. I have a few up here. It is by no means all of them available. There's millions of them available. And a couple of things when you're doing touch-up blue, you first of all want the part to be absolutely clean. So I will get something like brake cleaner, and you want to make sure there's no oil on the part at all. So I will go over here where I got a trap and make sure I get all the oil off the part, that the part is absolutely clean. And then each of the blues will have instructions. It may tell you to heat the part, it may not. They will almost all tell you it has to be oil free. To use, the one I use most is Birchwood Casey's Super Blue. This is available everywhere, including at your local Walmart. And although Walmart is not a place you usually go for gunsmithing tools, in this particular case I have had very good luck with Birchwood Casey Super Blue. And normally you apply it, you let it set for a bit, and then you're supposed to go wash it off. I don't happen to have a sink right here, so we'll just wipe it off, and then we'll put a couple of drops of oil in it to preserve it, and we'll let it sit overnight. If you don't like what you've got, you don't think that's dark enough, you can always reapply it. Put on, well, let's see if I got another flat here. You can always put it on more than once. Let it work. And this has got a dirty spot on it, so that spot's not bluing. And after it's had time to work, 30 seconds to a minute, wipe it off, and you have more of a kind of a bluey gray color, and you don't like that, you want it to be darker, you can always put it on again. And I hope you can see that it's darkening already as we look, except for that one bad spot. And then you'll let them soak overnight, basically age, set, I don't know what you want to call it. Put a couple of drops of oil on it, and you've got a blued part. Now, that's one example, and that's not trying to sell you Birchwood Casey's product. It's just a product I've had a lot of good luck with. 4440s, very famous. It's been around forever. It's a very good product, and again, it doesn't work on anything, but one thing about 4440 is basically with 4440 you get one shot. Okay, as if you put a second coat on, you take off the first coat. I don't know why it's that way, at least that's the way it's always worked for me. So it's a good thing to go and look at the instructions and read the instructions, and it tells you to wet a patch, rub the surface when it becomes black, wipe on, immediately wipe off. Bluing action is instantaneous. If solution is allowed to remain on the metal, an even coat cannot be obtained. Apply a coat of good gun oil to protect the finish. So in other words, this one works differently, And let's make sure we got this clean. Use another flat here. And let's see what we could do with this. This, as I said, is a wipe on, wipe off. And the second coat just takes the first coat off. You get what you get, and that's all what you get. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. So you go and you wipe it off, and as it says, the bluing is instantaneous. You wipe it off, put a drop of oil on it, and that actually worked probably better than the Birchwood Casey one. That is black. On this particular alloy, and this is what I mean by all of them don't work the same on different alloys. On this alloy, the Birchwood Casey was not as effective as the 4440. So if I were refinishing any gun, of this gun, this was actually an old cap and ball pistol. If I was refinishing that, there's no question about which of the two of those I'd use. And the next alloy might be a totally different result. So you just have to have several of them, try them on a piece, see what you get. And as I said, I've got several others here. We could try each one and get a different result with each one. But I think you get the idea of what I'm getting at as far as that's a really black finish. I'm impressed. I don't use 4440 all that much because I haven't had that much luck with it. But there you are. Nobody knows everything, even me. Now, usually cold blues like that are used for touch-up. And they're used for touch-up for a couple of reasons. One is it's generally very hard to get an even finish through on a whole gun by cold bluing it. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. When you go to a gun show and you find an old beater with no finish left, for example, this Winchester 95 here. I just purchased this recently. I got a really good deal on it. Everything is there. It works. It even shoots well. I was surprised. The first load I tried, I shot a 1-inch group with it at 50 yards because my eyes won't do 100 yards any longer without a scope. But I shot a 1-inch group with it at 50 yards with the first load I tried. Some 174 grain pulled bullets. They weren't even new. But this gun I will probably look at doing something about refinishing it and maybe even restocking it as time goes by. But right now I just wanted to show you, a gun in the white that's been beat up and used a lot. This gun is a Winchester Model 12. This was bought in the same condition. This entire gun was reblued with Birchwood Casey Super Blue. The barrel, the receiver here, everything was reblued with Super Blue. So that's a cold blue job that came out well enough to where I wouldn't be afraid to put that on the rack and try and sell it. So it's a matter of preparation is the most important thing. First of all, if you want a absolutely like factory-like finish, you have to polish the every scratch and pimple and rust spot out of the metal. Everything that you can see on the metal when it's in the white, you will see under the bluing. So you need to polish this. If you want it to look like it just came from the factory, this would all have to be polished like a mirror. And it doesn't matter whether you're using hot glue or cold glue, both of them will do the same thing. Little scratches like here, you might be able to see a scratch here, and there's a couple up here, will show right through the blue. I mean, there will be no question that that was reblued. You have to really polish them to fare thee well to get them to look like they just came out of the factory. And I'm not saying this one looks like it came out of the factory. Obviously you have wear on the magazine tube. But you can do a decent job with cold blue, and of course you want to use it any place where you need to do a touch-up and cover that bare metal so it doesn't rust. Preparation is number one. Lack of oil on it. Spraying it with something like the brake parts cleaner or a carburetor cleaner, something like that will evaporate off. Get all the oil off of it. Absolutely all the oil off of it. And then follow the directions of the bluing solution you use, and you can get good results. The first one you use may not work. You may have to try 2 or 3 different ones until you find one that will work on that alloy. But the reason I said earlier at the beginning that I've had good luck with the Birchwood Casey Super Blue is that's what worked on this one. Obviously, on this other piece we did, it didn't work as well as the 4440. So that's your quick lesson in using cold blues from the old Gunsmith on the 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel. And until next time, happy trails. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Good night.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.